All right, Jesse on fire. Let's do this thing. I'm going to just jump right into this really quick because I need to stay on task on this thing. I want to talk about a bunch of stuff and I don't have time to do a video. So I'm doing this live. So that's what we're going to do. I wanted to say at the very beginning of this video, the sponsor of this stream is Sheath Underwear. We're doing something very special now from now until the end of the year, from right this moment till the end of the year. Anyone who buys a pair of Sheath Underwear at sheathunderwear.com and uses the promo code FIRE and sends me a receipt will get entered to win a ticket to one of these events that we do at the beginning of next year. So the first one of the year, 2024, one winner is going to get to go with us for free. They normally cost $1,500, and that will be one person coming for free. So that's what we're doing with Sheath Underwear for the rest of the year. Anyone who buys a pair of Sheath Underwear, promo code FIRE, send the receipt to Jesse on Fire. I need to be able to see the date that it's from this date on. Someone's going to get to go with us, and that is what we are going to do. And I wanted to get that out of the way right out of the gate because we got a lot of stuff to cover today, son. Today. And, yeah, so I'll tell you what one of the big takeaways that we're going to talk about here that I have not heard anyone else talking about yet is, and I'm really torn on whether I should talk about it in this stream because it probably deserves its own video. But nonetheless, I'm going to talk about it on the stream anyway. So I'm going to go through the tweet storm that Conor did with Jake Paul and Jake Paul's responses, which are hilarious. Hilarious. Dude, listen. If you get the two of these, like if these two guys fight, all right. So what's also going to be an underlying talk track here has to do with Jake and Conor fighting. What would happen if they did? What would happen in the buildup? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to step on the spoiler right now. Step on the spoiler. Where I'm going with this is that when Conor figures out how Nate Diaz did this event, that he co-promoted it with Jake, and that he made this astronomical fortune doing it that way. If you understand just historically how Conor has behaved in his career, it is inevitable that Conor is going to want to do the exact same thing. I will guarantee you that. Why would Conor want to rely on the UFC to do anything when he starts looking at it and he goes, well, if Nate was able to make XYZ co-promoting with Jake, why wouldn't I do that? And so I think that there's going to be a conflict coming with the UFC, assuming Conor's not, because as far as I understand it, Conor had 2 fights left on his deal. It's possible that that's one of the main reasons that this fight has not been booked, and he's arguing on the internet, and it makes it seem like there's this back and forth. It's very possible that he's just negotiating with the UFC, because that's what I always heard, is that he had 2 fights left on his deal. And if that is the case, I can't imagine, that Conor is not going to start thinking about getting out of his UFC contract. And I'll tell you exactly why I think that. Actually, you know what? I've already started this video. I'll just tell you right now. And then we'll go through his deleted tweets and we'll go through Jake's responses. And we'll talk about, we can talk about this weekend stuff that happened. And I have some more thoughts on the fight, etc. If you've not subscribed to the channel yet, I would appreciate it if you would do that. If you watch my content, that would be amazing. Now, in this particular stream, I'm not going to interact with the chat as much as I normally do, just because I have to stay on task, because I have to get this done and up, because I'm going to be busy the rest of the night. Don't take it personal. If you want to, if it's something really important, super chat it. I'll always answer it if it's super chat. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. So this is why I feel so confident making this prediction that Conor is going to be angling to get out of his UFC contract now, unless he has already re-signed. If he has 2 fights left on his deal, and that's true, and especially if he has a sunset clause, which I don't have any idea whether or not he does. Just purely look at a couple factors, okay? Number one, let's look at how he has acted as it relates to the Michael Chandler Ultimate Fighter fight, Justin Gaethje, all this stuff, okay? So I did a video about this. I've always rooted for Conor. I have always defended Conor. And in this case, the part of this is rubbing me wrong is, to me, it feels like he has, that feels like he did make a commitment to fight Michael Chandler. He made a commitment with Ultimate Fighter to do the show and then fight Chandler. whether he's negotiating with the UFC or he's not, and he has every intention to fight Chandler, unless he is literally communicating with Chandler, being like, hey, man, I'm just doing this for publicity. If he's not doing that and he is going out there and putting all this stuff out there that he wants to fight Gaethje, forget about Chandler. He did that again this weekend. Then the commitment is not important to him, right? What's important to him is, okay, well, this is a better option now, right? Right now, this is now a better option. Gaethje has the BMF belt. I can go fight him, and I can go get Nate Diaz. We can do the trilogy for the BMF belt. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. That's a great plan, dude. That's a fantastic plan if you're Conor McGregor and you don't care that you already did Ultimate Fighter and committed to Chandler. Now, me personally, I would never be able to do that. If I just the way my brain works, if I committed to it, I would do it. I also don't know what my brain would do if I was worth $300 million or whatever, but nonetheless. So we know that he's going to look at every situation, and from the day that he's looking at it, he's going to decide what is the best option for him right now. History is not important to him. And if you look at where he is in his life, clearly his way of operating has been incredibly beneficial to him financially and in terms of any form of success that you would measure. The guy has done, I mean, think about this, dude. In 2014 or whatever, no one even knows who he is. It's 9 years later, and he's been globally one of the largest, most recognized and wealthy athletes in the world for how many years now? He did it in such an incredibly short amount of time. So what he's accomplished is incredible. And one of those traits, I think, is looking at the situation from right now, what's the best option for me? Okay, so if he does that and he applies that way of thinking to his situation right now, and let's assume that he still has 2 fights on his UFC deal, what seems like the best option after he really wraps his brain around the fact that Jake Paul and Nate Diaz co-promoted this event 50-50, that all the money is going to come into there, and then they're splitting it in half. Okay? And Nate is about to make more money in this fight than he did in his entire UFC career potentially. Now, I saw those reports. I have no idea whether or not that's accurate. I know he made a lot of money for the Conor rematch. I'm sure he made, money for the BMF. But I have a feeling that a lot of people steal the Jake Paul fights. I've talked about this a million times. I think out of all of the big pay-per-views, the one that is most stolen is going to be the Jake Paul one because A, the demographic, they're all, there's a lot of really young people, and so they don't care. It's free. They're just going to take it. And B, the entire stadium is chanting, F Jake Paul, F Jake Paul. Now, he likes that, and he's playing the heel for sure, but people really feel that way. And so they're going to be quicker to steal the fight. So I think there's a lot of piracy, a ridiculous amount of piracy when it comes to his fights. So who knows how the pay-per-view will look like it performed, even though every person on earth probably watched the fight. But nonetheless, let's just assume that Nate is going to get some enormous payday. Well, Conor is going to sit there, think about that, look at what Nate did. His brain, he is the most competitive person on earth. He's going to look at that, and it's irrelevant that Nate lost the fight. He's going to look over there and he's going to be like, okay, so Nate beat the UFC and got out of his contract and then got paid more than anyone, more than he ever made in the UFC. Well, how does he get to do? Well, I've never done that, yeah, I got the UFC to co-promote the Mayweather thing, but he's going to see it as Nate has done something that's a bigger deal than what if he has the ability to get out of his contract, I absolutely guarantee you that he is going to be spinning himself up, trying to figure out if he could do the same thing. And if he does, listen, can you imagine the numbers that a Conor McGregor and Jake Paul fight would do? It would honestly, they would do another promote, because, Nate is the people's champ, dude. I cannot stress enough that if you've never been to an event where Nate fights, I had never been there. I had never physically been in the building when Nate fights, but having now been there, I understand why Hunter and Dana and them fought so long and so hard and, depending on how you look at it, potentially kind of dirty to keep Nate. You get this entirely new perspective of fighters once you've seen them in person, dude. Once you've actually seen them in person, you could feel, because they get this immediate, real live feedback to them. Nate, it's insane how popular. People love him, dude. The whole place went absolutely insane when he came in. Insane. It was awesome. But when it comes to promoting the fight, the reason why people love him is because Nate's just like, whatever, man. You know, like he'll go do the interviews and all that stuff. But compare that to Jake, who is a glutton for attention, who will put on, you know, he'll get on a stage on the drop of a dime, and Conor. They'll do a press tour that will be identical to a Mayweather fight. You know, the Mayweather one, they'll go on stages. They'll sell out every single arena where they're going to do a press con. It'll be the biggest spectacle ever. Those two, think of what Logan Paul and KSI did. Okay. Imagine Jake Paul against Conor. It would be a bonanza that you could barely even wrap your brain around. Now, it's possible that Dana might co-promote that fight. Maybe. It's possible, dude. Given the gravity of that event, it's possible Dana and them would just agree to co-promote it. But nonetheless, like, I mean, if I'm thinking about this, I can guarantee you Conor is. And so when it comes to, I would, unless he's like, you know, shackled under a new contract, in which case he's probably going to be talking to Dana, because if I can figure it out, all of them can figure it out. So anyway, that's one thing. Now let's run through these tweets though, because this is hilarious, man. So the go to rehab reference was what Jake Paul said to Conor on Twitter in response to a bunch of stuff that in response to Conor's like since deleted tweets. All right. So you know what though? Hang on. I'm not going to get into this really quick. I just want to respond to this really quick. Whatever. I'm not going to pull it up. Someone just said, Conor's not the same person. He can't be relied on. Okay. Listen, dude. He can be relied on to promote a fight for sure. And also, you can't just look at like what he's tweeting and the fact that he's not fighting and all that, and then assume that you have some kind of insight into what's actually going on. Number one, all you know is that he's partying his ass off for sure. So when he parties hard. Everyone knows that. There's no question about that. There's just no question. When it comes to him not fighting Chandler, like I said, if he only has 2 fights left, and I honestly had not really considered this until like thinking about this Nate Diaz, you know, exactly what I was just talking about, because I had always heard that Conor had 2 fights left on his deal. Well, the way that the UFC got jammed up with Francis is they let him fight Stipe when he only had 2 fights left on his deal. That is exactly how Francis became a free agent, is they let him fight Stipe when he only had 1 fight on his deal. When someone only has 1 fight, that changes everything. Same with Nate, dude. Nate only had 1 fight, and they went into this whole thing of trying to get him to re-sign, whatever, because like they could either give him a fight and then he's a free agent, or like, you know what I mean? So I would be shocked if the UFC gave Conor his second to last fight. Now, I don't have any idea, but that certainly could play into it. Also, there's just a million things that could be going on. But in terms of like his ability to be relied on, he literally just launched a new company. Like he's got this new stout, I think it's like Guinness, but it's his stout. Dude, and the design is sick, dude. It's great branding, dude. I'll show it to you guys right now, actually. Stout Honor Game. What a stupid way to search this I just did, but here you go. I mean, come on, dude. That's pretty badass branding, dude. You have to acknowledge that. But anyway, so that's launched. Like, Conor doesn't need to be like doing a bunch of stuff himself. He has so much money. It's like he has an idea and then he hires people and then they do things, right? Okay, anyway, so neither here nor there. Let's get into the tweets. All right, so this one's hilarious. Okay. This is hilarious. So Conor just added, he's all, hey, sweetie, what's up? I don't know what you guys thought of Sweetie, but I did not find her, like, I don't know. I mean, I was more watching her. I was just watching her interact with people when we were there, and I was like, anyway, neither here nor there. All right, so Conor tweeted this one. This is one of many of his deleted tweets. So he's talking to Nate. He says, "People's champ, I'm going to say this now. Them antics when it's time to move ain't hitting for me no more. I've seen him point. I've seen him turn and walk away. It's stale now. Fucking do something because you're doing nothing. Could have been the 170-pound UFC champion. Wasted it. You're doing fuck all." I mean, I could tell you, like, having been there, people like it, dude. People like it. And I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, I've seen him do it before too, but I don't honestly, I don't think you could question literally anything that Nate Diaz does at this point, dude. It's like the guy just went in and he got beat by Jake Paul and he still won somehow. You know, like anyway, doesn't matter. Whatever Nate does, is working. So then you got this one. Also to Nate. I'm going to serve up your liver on a sandwich in the trilogy, mate. Out straight. I won't even hit your face. That was abysmal last night. Paul is a retard. Absolute garbage he is, moving backwards like I was watching a fight and rewind. Holy garbage. Embarrassing stuff all around. Hashtag piss. Okay. And then this one. So this is where the two of them got into it, right? So Conor says Paul is a retard, absolute garbage he is. Take the Jake the Snake Roberts. Shut your little baldy. I think he called him a wigger. And then someone commented, they're all, I hope. Listen, this is actually really funny, dude. Someone commented on that. They're like, geez, they're all, I hope the word wigger means something different in America. You're all, okay. I don't think that's like a word you need to like. He's talking about Jake Paul. I'm pretty sure you have carte blanche to call white people whatever you want. You know what I mean? But anyway, neither here nor there. That's what Conor said. I assumed that's what he meant. So Jake says, cocaine Conor coming for me. Buddy, you need to get into rehab and then USADA. Until then, shut the fuck up. Floyd toyed with you. Dustin chinned you up. Khabib and Nate choked you out, and I would put you in the coffin for good, even as juiced up as you are. So he says rehab. He says rehab. And then he comes with the kill shot right here, dude. That right there is the headshot right there. Cocaine Conor coming for me. Say no to drugs, kids, or you may end up in a bathroom with a woman who isn't your wife. Yikes, dude. That one right there. I don't know what you guys think, but that's pretty good, dude. That is pretty good, dude. I don't mean it's okay to call. I'm talking about without getting banned on Instagram. Like I'm saying, like, there's no, as far as I understand it, on Instagram, there's no, like, there aren't a whole lot of protections for what you could say about a white dude. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to face repercussions because, you know what I mean? Like, Izzy's like, that cracker. No, does anyone bleep that out? You know, not a whole lot of protection for that marginalized group. Do you disagree? Have you seen a lot of people getting reprimanded on social media for, things that they call white people, especially a white dude calling another white dude a slander? Like, come on. Anyway, so okay, so wait, so what else? I wrote down a bunch of stuff I wanted to run through. All right, so I already talked about that. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. So another thing was, so the video that I did yesterday where I was like, I don't understand why people keep saying that, like, Jake can't beat elite boxers when no one is even talking. Like Jake's not even saying that. So a lot of people were like, no, but actually he is saying that. And I'm like, is he though? And they're like, yes, he is. He said this. So I went and looked. And I'm right, dude. He's not saying that. He has said he'll fight those guys. Like, well, not even those guys. He said he'll fight Canelo. That's what he said. He said, I'll fight Canelo. He's not, and also he's not serious, dude. Like, that's the other thing. He might be serious about fighting Canelo, But he is not saying that he's an elite boxer. That's like that's my whole point is like, and also in the context that the people that I'm talking about were saying it wasn't even in response to that. It's like, what did you think of how Jake did last night? And it was like, I mean, listen, is he going to beat elite boxers? No. You know, if he goes up against these guys, is he going to win? No. And you're like, what on earth does that have to do with him fighting against Nate Diaz? And also, like I said in the video, he's like 6-1. Why would a 6-1 boxer with a few years of experience be fighting against those guys? Of course, like he should be fighting people of equivalent skill, except he has figured out a cheat code to make $30 million while you do it, which is just to fight, you know, former UFC fighters. Okay, right. Wants to be a world champion and saying I can beat those guys now are two different things. I mean, listen, dude, I like whatever, dude. If people want, like, that's the thing that if people didn't get to the end of the video, what I said at the end is I'm like, I mean, listen, dude, people can hate. They can hate all they want, dude. People can say whatever they want. If people genuinely dislike, see, I might just be seeing it through the lens of like, I don't dislike Jake, you know, like I look at him, I see exactly what he's doing. And I'm like, this guy is so when we were watching the fight, so like our crew had 3 sections. We were in the floor seats, the front ones down below, and then the front row of like the like the deck right above the lower ones. And I was up there when Jake came in, and I was with myself, my buddy Bill, his buddy, his brother Joe, Victor, Hugo, his girl, my buddy Jeff, and Gabrielle. And when Jake came in, the place erupted in boos, and then all started going, fuck Jake Paul, the whole place. And I looked at Victor and he smiled at me. I was like, what a genius, dude. Like to be able to get that many people that all care enough about you to in unison be screaming, fuck Jake Paul all at once, 20,000 people. Do you understand how successfully you have implemented your strategy to be able to do that, to get people to do that? You know what I mean? Like, you think he's doing that by accident? You think he's just like naturally so unlikable that everybody, like, it's just, he's literally like executing a flawless plan. He is the ultimate heel and he knows it. It's a whoa. That is an absurd comparison, my friend. That is an absurd comparison. Chael's the best on the mic in the history of the sport, okay? One thing that Jake does not have is the ability to very quickly think on his feet and deliver the best lines fucking ever. Like, that's, dude, Chael has no equal in that regard. When Chael was fighting and he was put with a microphone in front of him, and then he would talk about any of these other fighters or who they were fighting or anybody in the, it's uncanny how clever he could be and how fast. When he would deliver lines that were pre-thought out, they were genius. When he would do it right on the spot, it was genius. Like, Jake doesn't have that, dude. That's the one thing Jake doesn't have. Like, Jake doesn't. So like, I remember, this is what I was trying to talk about earlier, and then I got sidetracked. Okay, so this is a perfect segue into this. So let's say that him and Conor did fight. Okay, like I have no idea what the odds of that are. They're a hell of a lot more now than they were when Jake first threw the Irish flag up and was smoking a cigar and called out Conor. It seemed totally ridiculous. But let's just say that did happen, and there's a huge buildup. Okay, there's a huge mismatch between these two guys in the two departments in terms of trolling online, building up hype online. Jake is going to kill anyone. He's going to crush anyone. He is a brilliant online troll, and he has a huge team of guys that are clever and the way that they know exactly what's going to go viral. Now, Conor, of course, he will go viral also when he says things, but I don't think that there is any comparison in terms of their ability to troll online. Now, you put them into the room together and you put them both on the mic and just take the advantage Jake has and then multiply it by 5 and then give it to Conor. Conor will eviscerate Jake on the microphone. eviscerate him. He'll demolish him on the mic. Because Conor is one of the most clever guys in the history of the sport. Him and Chael are right there, There's no comparison there. But the fact that there's such a mismatch between the two things is like Jake's going to make music videos where he's clowning on Conor, and they'll be super clever and super funny, and they'll get 50, 100 million views. And then they'll get on the mic, and Jake will try to think of something really quick, and Conor will have already gotten 8 jokes in on him, and he'll be trying to process the first one. When he gets to the 8th one, it'll just be, Floyd Mayweather is pretty, like on the microphone, he's great. Conor ate him up, dude. Conor ate him up at those pressers. Now Floyd didn't care because Floyd is also excellent at playing the heel. He didn't care. That's where I really decided that I genuinely really like Floyd Mayweather was during the buildup for the McGregor fight. It's like when Conor would get the entire place chanting, "Fuck the Mayweathers." And you just look and Floyd he has a 100% genuine ear-to-ear smile. He doesn't care. Not only does he not care, he loves it. All he cares about is that they're building energy. He doesn't care. Same with Jake this weekend. He not only doesn't care, he loves it. And that makes me like them. You can't get under their skin. Not with stupid stuff like that. But, and again, there are other guys that can tolerate it. Like I said this on my video last night, but I'll repeat it right now. Colby has grown into a great heel, right? He's grown into being a great heel. It came off a little kind of weird at first, but he's just stuck to the character. He's gotten better at it, and he does really well. He's a great heel. And I watch him, when he fights, and it's really, really impressive how he can just to him, like my impression of him is that he is able to completely block out the crowd, like where he walks in and he's just a steel trap mind. He's just I look at his face. They could boo him. He just doesn't hear it. He does not care. He just doesn't care. Doesn't bother him one way or the other. He's indifferent to it. Jake likes it. It's not the same thing, dude. It's really not the same thing. Because to me, it seems like, I don't know, man. Like enjoying people booing you seems totally crazy to me, man. Seems totally crazy to me. But yeah, anyway. Jake Paul makes hundreds of millions. Chael makes how much on YouTube? I don't understand what this references to. Chael made $9 million for his Anderson Silva fight. Everybody already knows that. So I don't know what your reference is. He makes how much on YouTube? How is that relevant? That is for the new Conor rambles a lot. You guys you've never seen Conor. Whatever the new Conor is, you have to see him in a live environment building up to a fight to have any kind of point of reference. Seeing him while he's drinking, tweeting things, you can't make any judgment on that, man. Anybody can consume a bunch of stuff and then sound like a dimwit. And then, 2 days later when they're sober, sound like a brilliant genius, I just think it's hilarious how much did you guys see where Logan almost got in a fight in the crowd at the fight? I just saw this clip on Instagram. I can't show it because they'll demonetize this video. Even though no punches thrown, people pushing each other. But there was a squabble in the crowd at the Jake and Nate fight. And the guy who came after Logan looks exactly like Eric Nixick. To the point where I actually asked him if he was going to be in Dallas before the fight. And he's like, no, I'm not going to Dallas or Nashville. And then I sent him the clip yesterday. I'm like, dude, I thought you weren't going to be in Dallas. I was like, your doppelganger's making you look like an easy round because the guy just gets pushed. He looks exactly like him. It just looks like you put Eric Nixick in a hat and then put a fucking chain on him. And then he tried to attack Logan Paul. But apparently His doppelganger is a really big fan of Nate Diaz because he wanted to fight Logan. Logan was in there like still in his WWE outfit. You know what I am going to show you actually? Dude, look at this. Seriously, like this is so crazy. Oops. I just want to show you, dude, like there's this clip of Logan Paul at WWE. Now, I don't know. I've never watched WWE, but I just watched this. Wrestling has never been a thing that I watched ever. Why is this taking so long? Okay, there we go. Hang on. Hold up. Hang on. Where the hell is it? This dude. Look at how sick Logan Paul does in this. Like he's like, he does like all these insane. Look at that, dude. Look at that. Look at that, dude. That's so sick. Like he's like a legit wrestler now. No fucking way. I didn't even see that, dude. Like you have to be kidding me, bro. He wins by overhand right knockout. Okay, so anyway, like I said, dude, I don't watch WWE, but in the few times I have watched it, I've never been like impressed by anyone's acrobatics or moves. You know, like I know what it takes to like move a body around or like all that. You know, I know it's choreographed, but that was really impressive, man. That was super impressive. I also read that Ngannou was only making 15 to 20 million for his boxing match. That's pretty close to what UFC offered him, and it wasn't a one-off. Maybe the millions. That's not even close to what the UFC offered him. Not even remotely close to what they offered him. And also he got 20 million from PFL, and he's doing the boxing match. He's got 20 million guaranteed at PFL, 4 million signing bonus, 8 million for the two fights. And then he's going to fight Tyson Fury. There's no comparison at all. So what I've heard from many people who know, who are like kind of, well, money, I mean, you know, three, whatever. Like I know three people, like one guy who works for MVP, another guy knows whatever. Anybody who knows Jake Paul is like, dude, all this guy does is train. Like he doesn't party at all. He doesn't drink. All he does is train. That's why I know that like what he's doing is intentional. I have so much respect for it. It's like he's not just like randomly, you know, like they're like, because what I think he used to be was like a social media influencer who was like, you know, like he was just being himself and it was super obnoxious. So then like when he's all, I'm going to fight our UFC guys, we're like, dude, fuck this guy, dude. But like now he's like a grown up who has trained himself into a competent boxer, and he's implementing strategy and he's winning. It's impressive, dude. I love this, dude. I just told you I talked to one of the main guys at Most Valuable Promotions, his company. Specifically, I'm like, okay, so they're going to be whatever. He's like, well, you won't see Jake, dude. Like, he doesn't go out. All he does is train. But I'm sure your sources are fucking way more credible, bud. Oh, there it is. There we go. This is the kind of geniuses I deal with, you guys. This is the kind of genius shit I deal with. They'll literally comment. They're all, oh my God, man. All he does is train. Who's your source? You're like, I mean, his business partner. They're all, oh, idiot. I'm like, oh, what's he doing then? They're all, everyone knows he's doing satanic worship shit, man. How does he have time to train when he's constantly doing Satanism? Fucking idiot. Get out of here, geek. Anyway, thank you for the super chat, Josh. I have no idea. You are the cuck who told the chat you would sell your wife on OnlyFans. Yeah, I think I said feet, dude. For creep fucking morons like you who would pay $100 to see someone's feet. Anyway. This is actually fun. This guy's dumb enough. I'm going to keep talking to him. Why you sock off Pauls? They have everything handed to them. Really? Nothing to lose fighting guys with all the money and resource in the world. Anyone could do what he does. Work ethic is instilled in us. You, sir, are a fucking idiot. How about that? You're a fucking idiot. Anyone could do that. So you, as an example, when you were 23, could just start training boxing and then get good enough to beat a welterweight champion in the UFC in a few years, because just anybody could do that, dude. For sure, you could do that. Yes, you're a fucking idiot. It's just fun, dude. Once you find a good one and you get them talking. All right, maybe he's not that dumb, because that's true for the most part. But Jake, in his case, is a ridiculous athlete. Both him and Logan are ridiculous athletes. But that said, can I go over what happened in Moicano's Discord? Oh, nothing, dude. I was just like, I was in there rapping out with people, and then some fucking idiot came in and started like posting old ass videos. It's like he wasn't even saying anything. He just came in and posted a link. He's all, here's where this guy, talked trash about Jesse on Fire. Then I just ignored it and I kept talking to it. And then he's like, here's Jesse saying, and I'm like, what is this guy like? I'm like, I don't even know what you're doing. Are you trying to troll? Like, what is this guy doing? And then he's posted another one. And then he started talking. And I realized like, oh, this idiot's trying to troll me in Renato Moicano's Discord chat. I'm like, all right, well, hey guys, I'm going to beat it and I'll come back in a couple days. And if this fucking idiot's still here, then I'll check back in a couple days, And so they kicked him out. Simple. I'm in Renato Moicano. It's not even my Discord, dude. I'm not going to be in there and let the fucking conversation devolve into some stupid shit from 2 years ago that I never addressed even then, just because some fat, sloppy nobody who has never had sex with a girl is like, oh my God, Jesse's in here. Maybe I could get a reaction out of him. I'm like, kick this little fucking nobody out, and then we can continue talking. Anyway, so you may have, but you could just scroll back. I won't call him an idiot to his face. Okay. Nola, what's up, dog? Aaron Johnson. Aaron was with us this weekend. Part of the dude. Aaron was certainly one of the dudes where I was evaluating the crew we were with. I was like, we got a fucking ill ass crew here, dude. Ill. Bunch of yoked out fucking tattooed maniacs. It was super fun, dude. Super fun. Thank you for the super chat, good sir. We're doing it again for sure. I got to figure out what event we're going to do. I want to do one like I was talking about in the car ride with Gabrielle home. Like I want to figure out a way where we have one event a year and it's like, I don't know. We invite a very, very select group of people that we know from people who have come to previous ones, and you're invited for sure, good sir. Aaron could tell you the story about our guy almost getting beat up by Kevin Holland too, dude. Get out of here. I'm trying to be low key with $150,000 in diamonds around my neck right now. You want to know what's happening? I'll tell you. I actually haven't even talked about this. Chandler is in a very precarious situation with that, dude, because if he pisses Conor off, like he's trying, like he does, it's honestly, I was thinking about it, like, I wouldn't know what to do. Honestly, I wouldn't, I am very good at navigating these things. I would not know what to do. I wouldn't even know what to suggest to do to Chandler, because what Conor's doing is like objectively classless if he's seriously trying to get out of fighting Chandler. But if you're Chandler, it's always like, dude, if Conor's smart enough to know that the worst thing he could do is take the fight away from Chandler. So if Chandler says anything that actually pisses him off, then he really won't fight him. And so, honestly, if you guys watch my stuff consistently, have you ever seen me at a complete loss of words when it comes to like, here's how I would navigate this strategically? I have no idea what I would do. I really don't have any idea what I would do. I would probably, actually, let me take that back. Or, well, I mean, I hadn't really thought about that. So here's actually what I would probably do, is I would suggest that Chandler started making a lot of noise about how the two of them together are going to deliver the greatest fight in the history of the UFC. And then and be like, come on, Conor, like, let's give these guys what they want. Like, so you do it in a way where you're like, together we're going to do something incredibly special. Let's put this thing together. It's going to be the show of the century, and just make it. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what I would do. I would tell him, start hyping the fight in a way that is not adversarial to Conor at all. Like in a way that's like, this is going to be the banger of the century, whatever. Because normally, you know, like the way you build hype for a fight is like, this guy is a piece of shit, and he's scared of me. That's not going to work. Like that shit's not going to work. But if you get him in a place where he's like, all right, this guy's like trying to hype the fight and be my business partner, even in the face of me being a total fucking prick, then that might work. That's probably what I would do. Wesley Williams, is Tom Aspinall a threat to Jon Jones? Absolutely. Absolutely, dude. You know, you can't, like, the thing is, like, Jon Jones came out and was so impressive in the Gone fight, but there was such an enormous gap in the skills on the ground, you know, enormous gap in skills. And so it's hard to take anything away from it. Cause like, well, no, I take that back. It's not hard to take anything away from it. You know, Jon's ground game is incredibly, you know, impressive, and his submission game is very impressive, but like, comparing Tom Aspinall's ground game to Cyril Gane's is like, there's no comparison there. Like none. There's none. So it's hard to take much away from there, you know. Tom Aspinall is extraordinarily quick. He closes distance really well. He throws fantastic straight punches right down the middle. You know, Jon is good at controlling distance, but we still haven't seen him get tested in terms of his speed. Like, we have no idea if he's fast it's hard to say. Is he fast on the feet now at heavyweight? You just don't know. I mean, someone in the chat said something a few weeks ago that I always default back to, which I think was very smart, which was, you always pick Jon Jones until he loses, because he's always won, you know? Like, it's like, yeah, you could try to break down the fight, whatever. It's like, but Jon Jones has always won. Every single time he's fought, he's always won. So how could you pick against him before he's ever lost? And that's actually I mean, he's fought all kinds of fighters. He's fought grapplers. He's fought strikers. He's fought, well-rounded guys. He's fought every single one. He always wins. So it is an extraordinarily, well-received point on my side. It's like, yeah, that's true, dude. You just pick him. You don't even need to do a lot of research. You just pick him until he loses, dude. Is post-leg break Aspinall more dangerous than pre? He seems more mentally sound. I think he looked identical. Thank you for the super chat. I think he looked identical pre and post. I've always liked the looks of him on the way in, dude. Like where he always has this very calm confidence. And he looked really confident before that last fight. But that's how he's always looked to me. I think he's got a great mind for this game. And I don't, I mean, there are certain environments that he has not been in yet, title fights, I don't know, weird circumstances around a fight that, whatever. The only one that he has that I've seen that's kind of like a unique situation was this one, where he's coming back from a very serious injury, his first loss. And I mean, he handled it flawlessly, dude, whoa. I don't have any idea who that is. Registered sex offender. Oh my God. I don't understand. What traits has he shown that are narcissistic, man? All right, let me look up this Turpy MMA guy. And let's see what we're talking about. Yeah. All right. I don't know who that is. Callan and D'Elia. What is that? I mean, what does that have to do with Tom Aspinall? Were you talking about Tom Aspinall when you said hang on. Maybe I misunderstood you. No, yeah, he did perform narcissistic traits as a situation. You're talking about Tom Aspinall. What is that? Oh, are you talking about Conor or are you talking? Oh yeah, Conor, I totally agree. Obviously. I mean, obviously. But I thought you were talking about Tom Aspinall. If you're talking about Tom Aspinall, I'm confused. But Conor, not so much. Gone versus Spivak. I got to go watch a little bit more Spivak and see what I think before I throw it. Actually, hang on. Hang on a second. Yeah, I want to go watch that Sakai fight again before I answer that. I'll check it out and then let you know. What else we got? Yeah, but Spivak, he also knocked a bunch of guys out. Chandler is 36, which is not almost 40. And I don't agree that he has a bad shin. I would have said, coming into the UFC, there were a couple shots he took that made it look like he was susceptible to taking shots. But like, since being in the UFC, I mean, he's eaten some pretty heavy shots, dude. The one against Oliveira, he did not see that shot coming, dude. That's the one that if you're like, that's the one that gets, if you're in the middle of like one of these, like, where guys go, woom, woom, like that's what always stresses me out when guys get into these back and forth hook exchanges, because it's like, dude, it's so tempting. Like, it's so tempting. And when you're in there and you're close, because that's a knock. Like if you clip them, it's a knockout shot and it's right there, and so you either have to make the measured decision, which is to like, do something and then step back out of there to take yourself out of danger, or you like, it's like the same feeling as when you're like, you're looking at a high fastball, where you're like, oh, I could fucking hit this dude. Because your instincts are going to be, I'm going to try to nuke this guy. And then you go, whoa, whoa. And whenever those guys get into those back and forth, hook exchanges, if someone gets caught, they go night, 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 night. Like Cody Garbrandt, like at least 2 times that I could think of right off the top of my head, he got into these multiple hook exchanges, got clipped and got KO'd. And there was like, in Chandler's case, that actually isn't exactly what happened. He drops his right hand when he throws his 1-2, and he got clipped with the left hook that he didn't see. And if you get hit with a shot you don't see, just like I was saying, because that's what happens. It's very hard to eat those shots. But like against Gaethje, he ate 100 shots, man. He got punched 1,000 times. He didn't go down. And Dustin, he ate a bunch of shots. He ended up getting strangled. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't agree that his chin is suspect. How is I don't understand this. Oh, what's up, Joe? How are you, sir? You guys, if you were a cartel cocaine dealer in San Francisco anytime in the early to mid 2000s, and a group of fucking savage badged or actually plainclothes policemen kicked your door in and put guns to your face, it was probably my boy Joe right here who did it. Thank you very much, sir. Are you guys getting ready for the season? You guys got big shit. If you guys are coming out to Texas for any events this year, hit me up and I'll come for sure, dude. What are the height and weight requirements to be diesel as fuck? I mean, I'm 5'10", 195, and I was small compared to some of these dudes. Aaron, who prompted he's probably 6'3", 225. We had another dude there named Ryan who's fucking enormous. I have no idea he's absolutely enormous. And then fucking Jake Paul's fucking bodyguard was there. He's got to be Aaron, if you're still here, how tall do you think Jake Paul's bodyguard was? The dude with the tattoos and guns on his fingers. Probably 6'8". And diesel, dude. Huge. Oh no. Trent is bad for you, dude. I'm 5'10". If I stand up straight and get measured, which I've done 1,000 times, 5'10". Thanks, man. Yeah, dude. So, oh yeah. Hey, so the guy, Uzefa, who was on the floor and had Crazy Horse Bennett sitting next to him. And like I said, he had no idea who he was. Like, had absolutely no idea who he was. And then so I told him there, I'm like, and I told him later that night when we were back at the hotel and we were at the bar, I was like, bro, I don't think you understand. Like, this is literally the craziest dude in the history of combat sports. And then yesterday he texted me, the video that's on, on YouTube that's like I don't know, I think it's like the most insane MMA fighter ever or something like that. I'll find it. But he actually, I have it right here. He texted it to me and he's just like, holy shit. I was like, I told you, dude. I told you. You couldn't have been sitting next to a person who was more likely to attack you if you said anything to him and be totally able to annihilate you before you even knew you were in a fight, dude. Hang on. It was, this one. Yeah. and this is the dude. He said that he's like, dude, this video is terrifying. Holy shit. I'm like, I fucking told you, dude. If you would have told him to shut the fuck up, he would have fucking murked you, dude. What else we got, dude? Exactly, dude. Exactly. Exactly. Dude, I'm gonna put you in timeout, dude. I'm putting you in timeout. Too many times. Same goddamn thing. Too many times. That she is, good sir. Thank you. But yeah, this, like, I remember, I remember when when I was like 25, I know exactly where I was. I was actually getting a tattoo that has now subsequently been covered up. But like I was getting a tattoo and the girl that I was dating at the time was with a bunch of people from her work. They were at some like work thing. And she called me while I was getting the tattoo, and she told me the story that like some guy at a bar had like spit in the guy, like this dude that she worked with, this guy spit in his face. And this is when I was training all the time. I was like doing a lot of stand up. And I remember hearing, like, she's like, yeah, the guy just spit in his face and like pushed him against the wall. And I remember just thinking about, as soon as I got off the phone, I was talking to the artist. I was like, man, God, why does that shit never happen to me? I wish somebody would fucking do that. And I've 100% meant it at the time. It's so stupid, dude. But that's Crazy Horse Bennett forever, dude. Like, that sounds ludicrous to me now. But like, that's Crazy Horse is like, I mean, yeah, he comes to the fight, and his best case scenario is for him to be yelling insulting slurs at the people in the ring, making everyone in the entire crowd super uncomfortable. And then for some yuppie to be like, hey, man, keep it down. And he's all, I'm actually curious what he would have, what his like initial, how he would have started the fight. He would have probably headbutted you. Dude, it's because he has to fight. He has to find opponents that make sense in his model. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not simple. Like seriously, think about it like this. Guru the Music. I do not as of now, but someday, dude. Someday we'll do it. So let's see. Oh, it's so stupid, dude. It's so stupid. Anyway, God, now I got sidetracked. Oh yeah. So think about this, like what? A serious question. What boxer could he put into the other side of one of his events that and expected to sell? Like, dude, he did. Like Tyron Woodley 2 did not sell. Bottom line. So he learned. Okay, he learned. He can't just throw anybody in there. It needs to be someone that could sell the fight. Okay, it worked with Tommy Fury. It worked with Nate Diaz. It's like, so he can't just like randomly throw an opponent in there. What boxer makes sense for him to put, like, what boxer would it make sense for him to fight that's going to sell? Like, it almost has to be like a retired person who used to be good, because they have to have a name. You know what I mean? Oh, dude, if I come to the UK, we'll meet up for show, dog. Gabriella's 5'3". So there's that. Do I think Jake has any chance of getting MMA against Nate? Yeah, I do, because Moicano says he does. Like, I thought, like, my initial take on it was, I mean, and this is still my take, honestly, is this. If you look at how that fight went, right? I mean, Jake is definitely going to rely on his boxing. Okay. If, they do MMA, he's going to rely on his boxing. That's the thing that he's good at, right? In terms of his skill set, it's not like he's better at some other thing in combat sports. So he'll rely on his boxing. So you just watch that fight, see how it went, and then you can take a lot away from that. So Nate, high guard, and he would close distance and just try to make it ugly and sloppy and keep it, in the clinch, right? And he was able to do that a lot, right? Now, as soon as you clinch with Nate, you're in serious trouble if you're Jake, dude. Serious trouble. Because he has dude, just look at the standing guillotine that he has, street fight, Jake. Like, obviously, Jake will train with guys, and if he has 11 brain cells, which obviously him and his coaches will know, he's going to have to learn to defend that standing guillotine. That is going to be like number one priority for an MMA fight with Nate, is do not let him submit you while you're standing up, right? Because Nate's takedown defense is not, or Nate's takedowns are not like fantastic, right? But, and Jake is, apparently has a history in wrestling. I would expect there to be, I would expect Nate to do whatever he has to do to close distance and clinch, which I don't think is Jake would have to be able to knock Nate out without letting Nate get close enough to where he can get his arm, get his hands on him. Because as soon as they clinch, again, Nate will make him think about, he basically can go back and forth between two things, right? Is he's setting up a standing guillotine or getting his arms clasped around Jake's back. Like if he gets underhooks and closes his hands, Jake's going to go down regardless of how strong he is, whatever. If he can close his hands behind his back, it's very likely Jake will be able to defend that takedown. If it goes to the ground, Nate will submit him. He just will. But again, if he's not able to take the fight to the ground and Jake is able to defend against submissions that are standing, then we already know what will happen. Standing up, Jake will beat Nate. Right? We've seen it. Like Jake will beat Nate standing. And so Jake just needs to train takedown defense. But again, Nate is a zombie. Like you can't get him out of there, dude. You just can't get him out of there. And so you're going to have to defend that stuff for a long time. And, I think, Again, I would have said that Nate was going to win for sure, but Renato Moicano said to our group that he thinks that Jake has a good chance in that, and I'm in no position to argue with him, But if I'm just breaking it down on my own, I think Nate wins because I just think you can't get Nate out of there. Eventually, he's going to be able to either submit him standing up or, close his hands behind his. It's just like, and I say that getting his arms around him and closing him is just like. I just think that's the most likely for Nate to be able to kind of break his posture, then trip him and take him down just because Jake's so much stronger than him, Yeah, and this is, that's not necessarily relevant, because, well, first of all, Jake, I will make a prediction on that. Jake will know how to kick if he fights in MMA. Because I think that in his mind, it'll look so gangster if he gets good at that. Because honestly, learning to kick it's not that complicated, dude. You know what I mean? It's not that complicated. And I saw him kicking the pad that one day where it was his first day kicking. And it was dude, if that's day one and you give him a full camp of kicks, he'll learn to kick, dude. He'll be fine. But also, Nate doesn't kick that much. You know what I mean? Nate doesn't kick that much. So, see, again, I hear what you're saying, but he eats 3 leg kicks from Nate. Nate's not a nuclear, power leg kicker. Do you know what I mean? Like and look, like eventually if Jake starts fighting guys in MMA, he's going to fight someone who can kick hard. And so that will come into play, but it's not Nate, you know? And I will say this, dude. I actually wrote this down in the notes. Jake is very lucky that Nate does not have heavy power out of the clinch, because if he did, that's a completely different fight, you know? Like it's just, I mean, like, and I'm talking, as a matter of fact, everyone in the entire UFC who is in his division, plus anyone else he's fighting, is super fucking lucky that Nate does not have serious power coming out of the clinch, or just serious power in general. Because can you imagine fighting Nate if he also had really heavy hands? You know what I mean? It's like he would be so scary, dude, because he's unbreakable. The guy is just you cannot get him out of there. And the only thing is, like, when he does hit you, it's like, you know, it ends up being like a volume of punches that breaks guys down. Except, you know, like with the Leon Edwards one, which is the only time I've seen him really fucking heavily rock a guy, you know, in his like recent fights with like one shot. That was like absolutely perfectly placed. Leon didn't see it coming, hit him just squarely on the chin. And Nate wasn't even used to it. That's why he didn't immediately go after him when he was rattled. Actually, you know what he told Caesar told me that Nate told him that he couldn't see. Like he actually, like when he hit Leon, he actually couldn't see him. And that's why he didn't jump on him, because he didn't realize how rocked he was until, you know, because he was here and he hit him. And he said it wasn't until he started like moving this way that he actually could see him out of the eye he could see with. And then that's why he like was delayed. And then he went in and tried to close distance. But Nate's 12 losses. Right. But if you're listening to what I'm saying, how many of those did he get finished in? How many did he get finished in? 1. Josh Thompson. So, like, my point is you can't get him out of there. That's my point. And so all of those wins, or all those losses, if he had heavy power to where he's a super heavy, like, one-shot threat throughout the entire fight, the majority of those are definitely not losses. You know what I mean? See, okay, right. But again, Nate's not going to be the one that does that. That's true. That's true. But I would expect Jake to, I mean, given that fight and how good a cardio shape Jake was in, I would expect him to be in very similar cardio shape for MMA. Because Nate was doing a lot of things that, like, you know, I mean, like, he was very intentionally trying to zap him. I can't remember if it was in the middle or the end of the first or the second round, but Nate did a thing where both at the same time, Victor and I looked at each other, because, like, it's a thing that it's a very common, like, grappling tactic from the top, which is like he laid his entire weight on Jake's shoulder, you know, where, like, he literally he went dead weight on him. And then I'm pretty sure that the round ended right there, and we both looked at each other. We're like, "Do you see that?" Because, like, you make them carry your weight. You know, they make you carry their weight, and he just made it extremely obvious. You know, where it was like, okay, so but Jake handled that really well, dude. He didn't gas out. No, I know, like, I know, but what I'm saying is Jake will have trained for it. Is my point. Like, it's not like he doesn't know that. You know, he'll train for it. Would be my guess. Thanks, dude. Thanks, Sean. Like, Shanji, I think, designed it. Speaking of which, I got to get out of here because I am going there. Oh, shit. I have class in an hour. All right. I got to go. Love you guys. Peace.